The smartest learning is about taking any study material that as a student or a teacher might have and turning it automatically into interactive exercises. So just imagine you have a book page or you have a worksheet. It could also be potentially a video, and you feed it into our app. We extract the content automatically, we identify the content, and then we generate questions about it. All of this is done automatically. The results are then presented to the user, and then the user can also customize the content a little bit, so the questions if needed. So for example, if a teacher wants to have customized questions for his class, he could modify it. Then you can do the tests. We have different modes. We have a learn mode, we have a test mode, and then you can also share it with others. A teacher could share it with his class, or a student could share it with her classmates. In that sense, so we combine a gamified exercise, a gamified experience with the automatic content extraction, content creation of existing material to simplify how you prepare for tests. So we make it less dull, we make it more engaging, more fun. At the same time, we take away the most burdensome part, which is creating these types of exercises yourself. We're both super passionate about education. We're super passionate about technology. So we had several brainstorming sessions to think about what are still the biggest pain points in education that we could potentially address. We had a list of topics, and what we're addressing right now was at the top.
I have two teenagers. At that time they were 14 and 16. And I was spending way too much time helping them preparing for this test. So there was also a personal benefit in trying to come up with a solution for this problem. I also have an experience in teaching. So I'm currently teaching digital marketing at IE Business School in Madrid. But I also started actually when I was a student many years ago as a substitute teacher in high school, different topics. And I still do that from time to time because it's really important to me to interact with the class and understand what are their challenges and how teachers can help their students.
For me, it's a bit similar. I also have quite a lot of experience in the education sector, foremost as a recipient. So besides the PhD, I got 3 masters. So a lot of kind of like education programs I went through. And there were a lot of instances where I found it's like, hey, this is super cumbersome to learn. Isn't there a better way? When I was at ETH, part of my PhD thesis was also about combining technology with education. So is there a way to make education learning more interactive given the current technologies?
One that is still very problematic today is that the world of education has too often a one-size-fits-all approach. So students are asked to fit in a mold, especially at a young age. So the educational system doesn't take into account enough their specificities in terms of the way they learn. So some people learn better by listening, by seeing, by reading, or by doing, and this is not reflected enough in the education system. And some schools try a different approach. They put more emphasis on the individual. Unfortunately, many parents cannot afford these private schools that try these different approaches. We really dream of an approach that would build on each student's strength, that would value different ways of achieving an objective as opposed to asking always the same, which is to perform well given a certain way of evaluating their knowledge.
Every student can actually get fantastic support independent of their socioeconomic background. We really want to provide a technology that is available to everybody, that is affordable, so that you don't have to rely on private tutors, which is only feasible for rather rich families, or that you are in the situation where you have, for example, a great school or a great teacher, so that we want to make it fairer.
I could come up with a list of things that can make it difficult. One of them is the resistance to change. You have to fight against some prejudice sometimes against technology in education. Not everywhere, but we've seen some of it. It's a very vast and fragmented landscape. So every country has their own specificities, and then within this, the schools and teachers themselves have their ways. So it's difficult when you launch a project in education technology to find something that can work for everyone. Sometimes decisions can take long in the education world for right reasons, yeah. So sometimes we hear concerns about data privacy. Sometimes we hear concerns about how your solution integrates with what we already are using. We don't want you to make our life more complex. And all of this can make it challenging. On a scale from 1 to 10, I would say a good 8.
Yeah, I would agree.